When Bodycam first launched to early access, one thing players immediately loved were the gunshots.
What was that, dude?
They already felt raw, violent, and powerful, but realism has always been our obsession, and we kept asking ourselves, what are games still missing? Most games try to make gunshots sound cinematic by bringing big bass, big punch, and a big Hollywood explosion to top that off. But real gunshots don't feel cinematic. They feel dangerous. Because in real life, a gunshot isn't just a sound, it's a shockwave. The air moves, the walls react, the ground vibrates, and the first time you hear a real weapon fired close to you, it's usually terrifying. So instead of making gunshots sound cooler, we wanted them to sound real. To achieve that, we built an entirely new system called organic reverb. This is a fully dynamic system that understands the environment around every single gunshot in real time. This system understands room size, ceiling height, openings in windows and corridors, how enclosed the space is, and how much air can escape it. Everything is analyzed dynamically to make every detonation physically react to its environment. Fire inside a tiny bathroom? And the pressure has nowhere to go. The bass becomes overwhelming, the shockwave violently bounces around the room, and the entire space feels compressed. However, in a bigger room, the sound breathes more, with longer tails, with more air, and with more space. But organic reverb didn't just allow us to change the gunshot itself. It also allowed us to simulate something almost no game does: shockwave propagation. Because in real life, gunshots don't just stay inside rooms, they escape them. So thanks to organic reverb, we now understand how shockwaves travel through spaces. If somebody fires inside a corridor, you don't only hear the gunshot, you hear the blast wave rushing through the corridor itself. Traveling through the space, leaving the room, and reaching the player 100% naturally. And those interior shockwaves are not just realistic, they're gameplay information. Because now players can instinctively follow the pressure wave to locate the shooter. Almost like the environment itself guides you towards the gunfight. But organic reverb also allowed us to simulate exterior shockwaves. Because once that system understood openings dynamically, it can also understand how pressure escapes outside. So now when somebody fires next to an opening, you don't just hear the indoor gunshot. You hear the air pressure violently escape outside into the world. And that's where we realized something really, really interesting. Because once that system understood the room itself, it also understands whether the gunshot should behave like an indoor or outdoor detonation. So now when you progressively move from outside to inside while firing, the gunshot smoothly evolves with the environment. No sudden audio switch, no artificial transition. We also took the opportunity to improve every other aspect of sound propagation in Bodycam. So gunshot occultation has completely been reworked, so that when somebody fires behind a wall, the sound now behaves much more naturally. Voice communication has also received a major upgrade.
Y'a quelqu'un là-bas, y'a quelqu'un là-bas.
We also improved vertical audio positioning, meaning it's now much easier to understand if a player is above you or below you, simply by opening your ears. And because organic reverb affects every detonation in the game, grenades also adapt dynamically to their surroundings. And honestly, guys, all of these systems combined together complete a completely different kind of chaos. But gunshots weren't the only sounds we revisited. Every improvement we made to environmental audio, we also applied to one of the most important sounds in the game, the player itself. So for this update, we completely rebuilt Bodycam's movement audio system from the ground up. And one of the biggest parts of the overhaul were footsteps. We completely rebuilt our entire footstep system from the ground up. We redesigned 38 different footstep surfaces, from wood and metal to snow, mud, concrete, and much, much more. But we didn't just stop at different materials, because even a single surface can have multiple variations. Because the polished concrete inside a gymnasium doesn't sound anything like the destroyed floor of an abandoned warehouse. So instead of just creating one concrete sound, we created different variations from polished concrete, dusty concrete, damaged concrete, grippy sidewalk concrete, and concrete covered in dirt and debris. The same philosophy was applied across every single material, making every environment sound as unique as it looks. But what happens when you suddenly change direction? In real life, your shoes don't just hit the ground. They're constantly pivoting, gripping, and sliding across the surface. So we recreated those sliding sounds for all 38 surfaces. So let's go back to our concrete example. This is clean polished concrete. Very smooth, very controlled. It's really sharp. Now compare it to heavily damaged, rough concrete. You can hear the gravel, the tiny debris crushing under the shoe, but honestly, even after all of that work, something still felt wrong. Because in real Bodycam footage, you never hear the world directly. You hear the world through the camera. And once we started rebuilding the entire audio mix around that idea, Bodycam started sounding like raw footage. We recreated all the little artifacts real cameras constantly generate. When you run now, the impacts travel through the operator's body, into the chest rig, into the helmet, creating tiny shocks and vibrations inside the microphone, exactly like a real Bodycam. We also built a fully dynamic wind system directly inside the Bodycam's microphone. When you sharply rotate, the airflow dynamically changes direction inside the camera. Turn left, the wind hits the left microphone harder. Turn right, it shifts to the right. And when you move, the more aggressive it becomes. And yes, inside a building, the wind is attenuated. Even interacting with the camera itself completely changes the soundscape. When your character readjusts the body cam, the entire audio mix becomes muffled. Exactly like a real camera. The audio overhaul didn't stop at movement. Our sound designers rebuilt every single reload from the ground up, giving each action more weight, detail, and authenticity. Recording and designing every click, every rattle, every impact, and every mechanical interaction by hand. While most modern shooters try to make audio sound like a movie, we're trying to make it sound real. Not because realism is a feature, but because it's the only way to make you forget you're listening to a video game. That's the philosophy behind every sound inside Bodycam.